about having you here tonight. Again, we'll go through kind of a presentation. Later on, we'll spend time here, answer questions. If you don't feel like asking questions in front of the whole group, we'll be here until 7 for the next parent informational meeting. Again, we are really excited about our move into this digital transformation. We're excited that your students will be the first ones to receive that the digital transformation. We'll kind of go on to our plans and how we think that, or how we plan on looking at changing teaching, changing learning, and providing your student the best education that we can provide here at Poplar Bluff. We want your students to be able, or your children, our students, to be able to compete, not only here in Poplar Bluff, but all over the world for skills. And we think this is our opportunity to personalize learning, which means that we can take your student where they're at and be able to personalize, enrich, go back and go over skills if needed to. We're going to give teachers the ability to just not teach to the middle of the classroom, but to reach each individual student and to expose them to their interest and meet them at their level. So we'll go ahead and get started. I have a little bit of a PowerPoint that will follow us along with information. We do have a handout. Jim, you may want to put some of them at the back in case some of them leave to go on. But we're trying to prepare our students for the future. But sometimes what we do at school doesn't look much like the future. Many times we talk about, the analogy here is that we're looking to drive a car, but we put you on a horse. So we're looking to put your students technology at their fingertips, information at their fingertips, and the skills to discern where their information is. The internet is full of a lot of information, and we have filtering systems set up, but we want to make sure that your students can take information on the internet and validate it and make sure that it's true and be able to use it in their job and in their education. I'll date myself, late 70s classrooms, they looked a lot like this. And this is this is not good whole group instruction, but just think about how bored we were with this type of teaching, and think about our children now and how engaged and how interactive they are.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the, anyone? The Great Depression, passed the, anyone? A tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which, anyone, raised or lowered? Raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government.
So I think you get the idea. 1977 is really boring in 2012 and 2013. So we want to engage our students and keep them engaged. Going on that theme, we need to look at education, because education is built a lot on a factory model, that we're putting out the same thing. And we have so many different individuals, learning styles, and different levels and different interests that come through our door. And we're not creating that one citizen anymore. We need to create students that are creative, that are entrepreneurial, that can do a lot of different 21st century skills. So again, I won't spend a lot of time on videos here, but I want you to get an idea of what we're trying to change in education.
The U.S. Department of Commerce ranked 55 industry sectors by their level of IT intensiveness. Education was ranked number 55, the lowest, below coal mining.
For the last 100 years, we've used the industrial narrative. Schools are like factories. It's an administrative process. It's about control and order.
The kids are having a much more stimulating and rich environment outside of schools than they are in school.
Kids are very rich content developers today through their social networking sites. They're big communicators through email, instant messaging, and text messaging, and yet all of those things are banned from their schools.
Every turned off device is potentially a turned off child.
We have to accept as educators that technology is not really a choice. It has created a world is just not here to help you teach traditional subjects. It has invented or has emerged a completely new environment.
It's about relationship, it's about community, it's about connectivity, it's about access.
Children are living now in a different space. They're living in what I call nearly now.
So again, getting out of that factory model, engaging those students with higher order skills and information that they can go and follow their interests. So in a short paragraph, this is kind of what we're looking to do. We wanted to kind of put it in a little synopsis, is that we're looking to provide a clearer view of each student's learning, that personalized part. And we want to use real-time data to provide that personalized path for every child. We want to give teachers the ability to do formative assessments really quickly in their classrooms. Many of you in the 5th and 6th grade center have used clickers. Your teachers use clickers all the time to get that formative data, to find out where that student is right then, so that we know, hey, this is 5 students we need to work in this group. This is 10 that we can need to do a little bit more skill here, and here's 5 that we can let and give them some parameters, take off in another direction to reach the level that their potential, and not just teach to the middle. So we're stressing challenge-based learning. We want to increase creativity and collaboration and initiative. And we think this is the way to reach our mission. And our mission is achieving excellence through learning, every child, every hour, every day. So again, why one-to-one? These are the main 5 reasons we think that preparing students for the 21st century. We do not need to prepare them for the now. We need to prepare them to compete again, like we said. We want to increase that engagement and increase that achievement. We are interested in the level playing field. I really believe that public education is one place that if you come into it and get what you can out of it, you have an opportunity to bring yourself out of whatever level of economic level you're at and reach another level. It is a true way to raise yourself from your bootstraps. And this is a way of leveling this playing field. We're giving everybody the same opportunity. We're wanting your students to communicate with a global audience. We have found in our small pilot, we've done a pilot this year with 100 laptops in the 7th grade, and we've used those and rotated them through the teams. One of the things that we have noticed in our English department is our students are more excited about writing when it's their own writing, and they're posting not just for the teacher. They're not writing for the teacher. We've had many lessons where people are writing, other students are commenting on the writing, and then the writing is improving. So we do see that global audience, that ability to every student to be a publisher almost, has made writing more engaging. 24/7, with this device, and we do know that home internet is a struggle for many of us. I live out in Stringtown. It wouldn't matter how much I paid. I can't get really fast internet. And we realize that, and our teachers are going to be very cognizant of not putting a lot of internet-based homework. But with our learning management system, we have a learning management system called Blackboard. And many of you who have gone to college or are in classes or have older kids that are in classes, Three Rivers uses Blackboard. So we'll be able to push content into their machine so that they can take home, work on that content, create that content. They come back to school, they hit our network, they can dump it into the teacher's Blackboard page. So we do know that we can't ask everyone to go home and do something on the internet. But we are going to work for partnerships in town, in different places. We're going to open up our buildings as we move through this process and longer times to allow that internet access. And remember, there will be filtered access when it's on our internet. Go back a little bit to the history on this. This started in 2010 with me at a summer conference in technology, and I walked into a conference, a session, much like this, and I was at the back, right where Jim is, and I started to walk in, and I said, "What is this session about?" And they said, "Well, that's about one-to-one laptop initiatives." And I turned around and walked out, and I said, "That'll never happen at Poplar Bluff." And so I just walked away. I didn't even go into the conference. But I've had the opportunity to meet and collaborate with some great superintendents and some great school districts. And we went and visited, and we spent a lot of time visiting schools. And that's when it got into our heads that this is not a possibility. We can make this a reality. And we started looking at models where they budgeted 2% of a budget for a school to provide this resource for our students. And we started thinking, where can we reallocate cost? Where can we change things to do the right thing for our students? And we really think this is the right thing for our students. So our biggest partnership has been with a school district in North Carolina, in Mooresville, North Carolina. And that's one reason Bob Case isn't here tonight. Bob Case, Mike Keeney, and about 12 teachers loaded up in a van Monday morning at 5 a.m. and went out and visited Mooresville. And this is the third visit we made. We made a visit, Patty and I, with some teachers in October, and then we made a visit this summer. We were able to spend 3 days with them this summer and talk about their philosophy. And then we were able in October to visit the school day and watch it and see are they really telling us what's going on. And then Bob and them will come back, well, they're on their way back right now. And they'll have 12 or 13 teachers that have also seen what's been done there. And the reason I want to use them as a model is because they're about 5,000 students, well, they're about 6,000 students. They are 45% free and reduced population. We're about 56, 57. They're about 12%, 13% minority, we're about that. So it's a very similar school district. They are not a Ladue or a Clayton where they have all this money. Out of the 115 school districts in North Carolina, they are funded at, they're number 112. So they're not a rich school district, but they've made the priority of where they spend their money, and that's what we're working towards, that we spend our money where it's best used for our students. So we saw that, and then we look at their results. And their results they went from a 68% graduation rate to a 90% graduation rate. They cut their discipline referrals in half. They had a 300% increase in scholarships. Their attendance went up. They're over 96% attendance. And 95% attendance is very hard for a school district to reach. So those are things we've seen a school like us, with the funding similar to us, make this change in their culture. And so we came back after our first meeting and we sat down, and matter of fact, I was on the podium and they asked me, what have you learned today? And I said, I've learned that this can be done, that you have a culture that's set it up, you put the technology in it. I said, but what I've really learned is that my students are just as good as your students, and my teachers are just as good as your teachers. There's no reason we can't duplicate this. And that's what I came away from that. The only thing I told them, I said, I'm not sure as I'm good a superintendent as you are. So I had to work on that, but our students will overcome that, I'm sure. So that's why we feel more confident in this, and we've done a lot of research and school visits. And if you have an opportunity, you can look them up on the web. Again, Mooresville, North Carolina, their superintendent was rightly so named the superintendent of the year for the United States. So there's a lot of good things we've learned from them. We also had their technology director come and visit our school district for 3 days and help us with wireless and network. We have 4 of their teachers coming in July to train our teachers in the content areas: social studies, math, English, and science. So they're going to come train our teachers. So it's been a great partnership, and we keep asking questions. You're going to hear things like flipped classrooms. And what is a flipped classroom? That'll be some things that already when these teachers were coming back, they're texting other teachers and saying, we need to learn more about flipped classrooms. And what it is flipped classrooms is we'll be able to provide that content, that demonstration on that MacBook to go home, so they'll visually see it. This is an example of our new assistant principal at the high school, Chris Martinez. He was already doing this. He did this flipped classroom with an iPhone. But this is an example, and we won't have a test over what he's going to do. It's got something to do with algebra.
Well, this lesson is going to be about multiplying binomials. I'm going to try to give you 3 simple steps that can help you multiply any binomial, so pay attention because I'm going to move kind of fast. First one is called FOIL. That stands for first, outer, inner, and last. I'll show you what that means in a second. The second step is called combining like terms. That means putting things that are alike together. And the third step is put in descending order, which means you have like your x squares before your x's before your constants. All right, let's get right into a problem and let's get to work. Here's 2 binomials, each in one set of parentheses. They want us to multiply them together this is how we're going to do that. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take 4A.
So you get the idea. How much easier would it be to help your student, your child in math, if along with them not only came a book, but a presentation? So we could push these digital videos out through your child's device. They can bring it home. They can go over and actually rerun, whatever, go over that content at their pace. And so they'll have those, and you'll hear a lot about people flipping their classrooms. And what it basically means is we'll put demonstrations, explanations out on your child's device, and then when they come back, our teachers will work individually with groups because they've also got that content that they can go to. So it's just another way to provide good instruction. How are we going to gauge if we're successful? So excuse me, get ahead of myself. When we proposed this to the Board of Education, we said, make this our scorecard. Make this our scorecard if we're going to go forward. So we want to make sure that we measure student engagement and see that it's increased. We want a decrease in student discipline referrals. We're looking at increasing our graduation rate. Student achievement, standardized tests, grades, narrowing that achievement gap. For those kids that come in that are behind, we don't want that gap to get larger. We want to narrow it. And we don't want to narrow it by not working with our high-end kids. Okay? We want to continue to push them, but push here too. So that goes back to that personalized learning. And then we're going to do pre and post implementation student and teacher survey data. And we're going to look at our graduate follow-up data. So this is a scorecard that we're going to use to determine whether we're successful. And we put it out there right at the beginning. So how do we, what have we done? We gave our teachers, our junior high teachers that your students will have next year, have had their MacBooks for a year. They've had a year's worth of training, even though it's 7 or 8 days throughout the year. They've also worked together. So they've had their MacBooks for a year. We did not want to make sure that, we want to give the teachers a head start because you know the kids are just great in technology and our teachers may be having to catch up a little bit. So we want to make sure they have the device. We're developing that network where subject area teachers can collaborate with other schools. We have purchased Blackboard as our learning management system, and we're already being trained on it. We have been trained on a lot of Apple software applications. We're still doing school visits to other schools that are farther ahead of us in this one-to-one initiative. This summer we'll have a 3-day summer institute where our teachers will be trained by teachers from other school districts that have already been through this and are successful. And then we're also going to continue through our schedule. We have collaboration time. We're going to provide teachers to continue to work together and get better and develop lessons. How do we protect our investment? This is a big investment for us. We've put it in our budget. It's a 1.1, by the time we get done with high school, it'll be about $1.1 million a year towards this project. Now, it's not all computers. Some of it's digital resources. Some of it's other types of training. Some of it's protection of the investment. So we put that in our budget so that we can maintain it. Many schools, and we've been guilty of this in the past, will get a grant, buy a bunch of technology, and not do anything in between to maintain or to keep it up or to train. So we're putting that in our budget every year. There will be an insurance fee. But with that insurance fee, we'll talk about what you're going to get with that. The insurance fee would be $45, and for free and reduced students, it would be $25. We will take payments. We want to make sure that if your child and you want that MacBook to come home, we will work with you. Now, if you are totally against that going home, we will have procedures built in through our help desk. We'll have a help desk where a kid could check one in and check one out every day. But we will work again with you for payment, but there will be insurance, and Jim is passing around some information on what that insurance will cover. This is the backpack that will also be issued with it. This is, again, to protect our investments. It's very heavily padded so that the MacBook can fit in there. We will train our students on how to carry this. There won't be this down the hallway because this leads to this. So there'll be procedures on how to carry it, and it'll be 2 shoulders. to carry it from classroom to classroom. And that's just to protect our investment. There'll also be a plastic cover over it, and I'll show you here in just a second. And this will protect the outside cover and the bottom. And that's also to protect our investment, because we're doing this on a lease. So in 4 years, we plan to sell these back. And the better shape they're in, the more money we get to invest again. So there'll be a spec cover that covers that. We're researching maroon as a color. So that's what we're looking at right now. So that's a hard plastic cover that will be issued along with that backpack. I want to show just one more quick video, because these are some of the Mooresville folks and some of the people that have been on our campus and we visited. This is actually a commercial for their backpack, done by the backpack company, but it talks about their process.
I'm Felicia Dangerfield-Persky, but everybody calls me Miss DP. Here in Mooresville, I have been able to teach the way I really want to teach. I teach the kids math, but I also allow them to do projects with the laptops.
Several years ago, Mooresville Graded School District embarked on a new learning opportunity for students. We coined it as a digital conversion, an environment where students have tools and technology accessible at their fingertips.
We have leveled the playing field for all students. You know, when we provided this opportunity, immediately every student had this digital resource that created conditions that students that previously may have had a hard time applying to go to college now had the resource and the opportunity to do so. Students that, in terms of gaining scholarships, that's one reason we've had a 300% increase in scholarships, is just a simple addition of having the resource to go after the scholarships.
I'm not a teacher anymore. I'm a facilitator. I give them materials, I give them ideas, and I say run with it.
That whole teaching environment is no longer the sage on the stage, and the teacher being the only one with the information.
Everyone is learning together, everyone is growing together, the students know it, the teachers know it.
Most of the staff has been trained in Capturing Kids' Hearts, which is a program designed by Flip Flippin'. One of the aspects of it is the social contract. It's essentially the class rules, but they develop them and come up with them on their own. That way they take ownership in them. They've come up with all the key words like patience and trust, and it's how we treat each other and how they treat each other in class. It's how I want to be treated and it's how they want to be treated.
So when you give 4,000 students a MacBook, we want to protect our investment. So for me as Chief Technology Officer, that meant some critical decisions in terms of what we're going to do to protect that investment.
My favorite parts of the Brent Haven backpack is like pretty much the whole thing.
My glue sticks, erasers, flashcards.
You can put like your jacket and maybe like a hat, a beanie.
It has cute little pockets. I think it's pretty cool.
It also allows us, or it allows me to sleep at nights because I know that the laptops are taken care of.
The opportunity for teachers to leverage this resource to extend learning beyond the classroom to other places, to other times, has really created a new dynamic in that the entire district is a learning culture. And at every single level, at every single school, we have seen improvement in every content area, and that has not been by accident.
Having these laptops and the backpacks and everything Mooresville Graded School has did for us, it makes me feel like I will be somebody someday.
So going back to protecting our investment, your child and our teachers will have a help desk on each campus so that they will be able to go there if they have immediately help, be sent by the teacher. If there's a problem, it's that with the laptop there's a possibility of getting a loaner if theirs doesn't work. So we have resources there. Each campus will also have a teacher dedicated to helping other teachers, a technology facilitator, working with our teachers to improve their instruction, improve their assessment. So we're not just going to throw our teachers to the wolves out there. We're going to provide that support for them to make this change and to improve instruction and therefore improve student learning. Let's see. One of the things we've got on our list, we have an extensive list in this plan, and one is to go out and meet with pawn shops and show them our device and say, if you see one of these, call us. So we're working diligently to protect that investment, because we feel very fortunate the Board of Education and the community will support us in this, so we want to make sure we protect it. This is the insurance info that Jim just gave out. This is Gallagher Bassett. It's a group that we have worked with on our liability insurance. They have been in this one-to-one laptop insurance business for about 3 to 4 years. There are schools in St. Louis and Kansas City ahead of us, and you know, we don't want our students behind, so that's one of the reasons we're working to move ahead. So all this insurance information is, I don't want to read to you, is right there in front of you. Kind of moving a little quickly. One of the things I didn't mention, and you saw in the video, capturing your kid's heart. We know it's not all about technology. We know it's about relationships too, and developing that good, positive relationship with students and teachers, students and students. So we are also investing in our teachers this summer. We are training 50 high school teachers and 50 junior high teachers in capturing your kid's heart. We sent Sheldon Tyler, Bob Case, and Mike Owen out to preview this. Even though we were very excited about what Mooresville does and we're trying to copy much of it, we want to make sure that we tested the waters. And they come back and they said, this may be more important than the MacBooks. And so this summer we're having 2 trainings, 2 3-day trainings, and we're going to use some of the same things that they're talking about in capturing your kids' hearts. So you'll hear more about that as the year goes on. I know that was a quick synopsis of what we're doing. We will be developing a website, which will be the digital transformation website, where we'll have frequently asked questions and deployments. One of the things I didn't mention really is that before a student can take a MacBook home, they must have the insurance, and the student and the parent must be trained. Okay, so we have to have commitment on that end. That again, that protects our investment. That also lets you know a little bit about the device before it goes home. And so those will be, and we will set up those trainings about the time school starts, and we will have them at all times. If we have to have them on Saturdays, whatever it takes, we will have the trainings to meet your schedule. If you can't meet something that we have posted, you call us, you let us know, we will find a way to get you trained, so that your student, if you're behind that and want to take that MacBook home, we can allow that to happen. Have I forgotten anything that I need to say?
The digital resources.
Okay, yeah, digital resources. People say, are you getting rid of textbooks? Well, you know, we haven't bought a lot of textbooks lately. Many times by the time you buy a textbook, it's outdated. We will be looking to buy those digital resources to put on the MacBook. So we're budgeting $45 per student. So our faculty and Patty are working together to determine how we're going to spend that $45. Are we going to spend 10 here in math or 5 here per student, so that they can have those digital resources to teachers to use with them. So that's budgeted in our plan, the $45 per student digital resources.